Guys, I just made a 20-minute recap only to find out my account number was showing. Take two, bro. This is what this kills me, man. I'm gonna make this one like 5 minutes. I just went through everything in the archive, only my freaking account number showing, man. Oh man, wow. So here we go. Here's the list. We traded a bunch of stocks because it's such a volatile, crazy hot market. The key, however, is for us to do a little bit more filtering, be a little bit more careful in what we trade because we did take a lot of losses. Now, with that being said, the bulk of the losses did come on NAKA and MMA. NAKA, a stock I was green about 200 on, and then gave it all back. Should have stopped sooner. And then MMA, a stock I just couldn't get a good grip on. And I think most of it was just lack of focus in some areas, but others, the stock just obliterated me on pullback trades. Um, Again, I already went through all the archive. Honestly, I'm kind of like like it's so hard to do this again. Even the first one, So I mentioned also yesterday I didn't make a recap because I went to a wedding after a live stream around 11:30. I left out, or around 11:30. Yeah. So no recap yesterday. Didn't feel super good when I got back, and so here we are today. We're in a hot market, guys, with ticker symbol OCTO, I believe it is. Yeah, with ticker symbol OCTO and us giving this massive move, along now with ticker symbol QMMM. We've had two stocks today go up some insane percentage, right? Thousands of percents. So it's safe to say that we are in a hot market. This one was not tradable on Thinkorswim. I would have had a sweet trade down here. Around 12.45, I would have made like $4 to $5 a share in the halt going up, but my order got rejected. Didn't realize there weren't any shares available. Part of the deal, but didn't trade it on Guardian. Opted to just let it go because I was watching over 30. My first dip and rip entry didn't come until 38, and it was halted up again at 48. I'm like, bro, I allowed $20 a share to go, and I didn't get a trade. Like, that's it, right? Didn't want to keep chasing. It kept going, and I'm fine with that. I rather stick to my rules, but it's insane to see how the opening range here essentially, like, hey, this thing is making a new high. I'm gonna take the breakout with a tight stop. Maybe a $2, $3 share stop for this. All relative, right? And see what this thing does. I mean, look at the move, right? Just insane from the breakout level to the highs. No one ever really like top ticks, but 900%. Just insanity. So we're in a hot market. The goal for me tomorrow is to try to be a little bit more accurate and selective. We got to be careful with dips. We just looked at an example on MMA. I just looked at an example here where I'm taking like a reasonable dip, and it is just dropping, right? Let's see if I can find that trade here. So initially we're up $300. Is this an example? We went from 3 down there. Let's see. We went from 298 down to 75. Initially I'm long, but again, we're seeing lows of 60. And I'm 15 cents too high here on the pullback. I think despite us, making new highs and retesting highs, we got to be careful and really play the range to the lows, not getting in super early, not waiting too late. So you can see right here, I ended up adding, so my initial entry was 75. I think I added at like 65 or maybe a little lower. Where did I get filled? Yeah, 65. Not the best ad. We could have gotten like 63, 62. So our average ends up being 70. Initially, I'm thinking we could sell half to reduce the risk. I should have done that here. I had the instinct to, but I'm like, let's just give it a chance. My stop is 10 cents off of the lows, which is not terrible considering we can get all the way back up to 98, which would be a 3-to-1 ratio. However, the stock has other plans. So this execution here wasn't terrible looking back at it, but we still could have been in lower. It goes as low as 44. So, I was telling myself, I wrote down maybe no trades on the red candles on the bigger time frame could possibly help, because there's another trade here where this is going to happen again. Stock curls up. I think I could have done better here if I was watching it sooner, but it curls back up. And where did I take that loss? I think we had a poor trade somewhere in here, though. One of these trades might have been poor, or did we just get stopped out? So we had highs of 280, 282, and stock starts coming down. I'm going to watch the low here around 60 for the entry. I take 60. We had a low of about 57. Let's see. We get a little something there. And then I believe did I add back lower? Let's see. I tried 57 again. Looking for that reclaim of 60. Hold up. There was a bigger loss somewhere, I think I remembered. Also, no entry off the absolute low of the candle there, which wasn't great. Now, we just had such a great recap, and the freaking account number was showing. I was doing something, and I forgot to private it earlier. So it feels like I'm doing double work here. We tried the VWAP this time. Let's see how this trade went here. Again, the bigger time frames were red on the 5, the 10 minute, I think, at the time. And we tried the VWAP bounce. Let's see, we're in at 43. We got a low of about 32. We stop out of that trade. And I think once it comes back up here is where I need it to be back in immediately. Instead, I'm indecisive. I take it all the way at 48, just too high considering what our level is. I ended up stopping out. I think I stopped out. No, I held that one, but we should have been in lower nevertheless. We then tried higher in the range, and it did not work for break of 70. I got murdered on these pullbacks. Big Steve said he loved this stock, man. I don't know. That's like, really getting technical with the recap here, going through trades like this, but what other ones did I look at? I forgot. ISPC, ITP. I can't. Okay, ITP. Tough stock here. We're basically flat on it. It goes up over the resistance at 33 right here. It's looking decent. I take the pullback into the entry. Into the, so looking for support to become resistance to become support. And we get all the way to 35. We don't really have that big of sellers per se. There's a little bit of red. You're seeing some big bids mixed in there as well. And then right here, I take 34. We get to 34.4. And then look at this drop right here. Could I have been sooner to get out? Maybe. Actually, is that... No, that's not it. Hold up, it's coming. That wasn't it. I took it again. Here it comes. So I'm in 33.9. There's 34, and then instantly 29.28. Man, just this one right here was brutal, man. Like a $400 loss there. Tough. That was tough. Tough, man. My risk here, 1 cent, 1.5 cent max. Tough, just tough, man. The flushes today, just unreal, man. Guys, as I mentioned, I made a detailed recap. I do apologize. You know, it was like 25 minutes long. I have no energy. I have no energy left here for this. I already wrote down my notes. Pay attention to the larger time frames. Cut your trades a little quicker. And you know, it's one of those days where, for how I look for the pullbacks, they were just flushing down. You know, we're still able to get out with something, but it was a tough day. We started off up 1,500, red 600. You know, we got back into the green plus 700, then back to flat, then back to 600, and then back to plus 200, and then 580. And then we're at 130 on the other accounts. It's like another small green day. You know, it's a good reminder that not because the market is volatile, it doesn't mean that you'll always capitalize. So we got to be careful, try and navigate the momentum a little bit better, so that we can walk away with more green, retain more green, and have a higher, you know, P&L at the end of it. Not the best recap here, but you know, just touching base pretty much with this one after the nonsense of the recording just now. But yeah, hit the thumbs up. Tomorrow I'll be in for pre-market at 7 a.m. See you guys then. Stay safe, stay green.